25 days, 250 hours, 250.12 hours to be exact. Everyone loves talking about the money. Here it is. $4,315 in those 250.12 hours, and that's about $17.25 per hour. So that is more than I make lifetime. If you remember that video from months ago about what I made in my first 10,000 hours, it's about $14, low 14s. I made over $17 an hour in this stretch. 25 days, 7 of them were losing days, 18 of them were winning days. That's a pretty high clip. 72% of the days were winning days. For me, lifetime, it's a lot closer to 60, like 59%, 60%, something like that. So this was 72. That was also better than my lifetime average. Best win, plus $803. Worst loss, minus $358. Big difference. That's normal. My best win all time is 2,619. My worst loss all time is minus 880. And before I get into some more numbers, here's that graph I was talking about where I was in relation to pace. So here's the graph of me in relation to pace. So this is how you look at it. The line of 0, this line right across towards the top, this is exact pace. Exactly 10 hours every single day. After day 1, which is on the left, exactly 10 hours. 0 means I'm no minutes ahead of pace, I'm no minutes behind pace. I played exactly 10. And you have every number signifying the end of each day. Middle day, day 13. Final day, day 25. So as an example, let's look at day 1. Day 1 is right next to the minus 2. Minus 2 means I was 2 hours behind pace, about. I played 8 hours and a few minutes. Should have played 10 to be on perfect pace. I was about 2 hours behind. Day 2, the dot is slightly above the line of 0. I played 12 hours and a few minutes. So 1 plus 2 was 20 hours and some minutes. Well, 20 hours would have been exact pace. So I'm slightly above the 0 because I was ahead of pace a few minutes. The funny thing, which I realized about halfway through, almost the entire graph is below 0. This red box contains 23 dots of the 25 on this line graph. For 23 days of the 25, I was behind pace, and yet I still completed the challenge. So just like a single session where, you can lose 5 hands and then win the 6th, and if that 6th hand is big enough, you only need to win 1 out of 6 hands to be profitable on the day. Same thing with the hours. 23 of 25 days I was behind pace, but when it was all over, after day 25, I played enough to break 250 hours, which was the goal. Won at least a buy-in 8 of the 25 days, lost over a buy-in only 2 of the 25 days. So I had some 8-hour days mixed in there. So how many consecutive 10-hour days did I have in a row? The answer is 6. I had 6 consecutive days of at least 10 hours from November 1st through November 6th. I averaged over 11 hours per day in those 6 days. I made $1,862 in those 6 days, which is an hourly of almost $28 per hour. How many poker rooms did I play? The answer is 10. Let's see if I can remember them all by heart alphabetically. Aria, Bally's, Bellagio is 3, Caesars is 4, Mandalay, MGM is 6, Sahara and South Point makes 8, Venetian and Westgate, there's all 10. This was a long challenge because I don't even remember vividly the last time I was in Venetian, but it's in my stats. I was there one day between October 20th and November 13th. And there have been some requests for me to count how much time I spend changing casinos. Haven't done that, might do that in the future. I do know how many times I changed casinos though in these 25 days. So say one day had 2 casinos, Aria, Bally's. Well, I need to start somewhere. So Aria, Bally's is 2 casinos, but it was only 1 change. And 3 casinos in one day would only be 2 changes. So I changed casinos 54 times in 25 days. That's about 2.16 changes per day. So about 3 casinos per day, 2 changes per day was the average, which is worth it. If your first stop of the day only has bad games, you're going to want to kill yourself before you get to 10 hours. I change when it's necessary. I would prefer every day my first seat at my first table is great for 12 hours. It rarely happens out here. So I change when it's necessary. In these 25 days, it took about 2 changes per day to get the 250 hours in. And last thing, which isn't exactly a stat, the hourly, the first thing I said, $17.25 per hour. That's solid, it's very good. The first 4 days of the challenge, October 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, those were the final 4 days of that really bad stretch I had. I made the video I lost 3 buy-ins over the course of 6 days. That 6-day stretch, days 3, 4, 5, and 6 were the first 4 days of this challenge. So the money did not start off all that great, but you play a lot of hours and you smooth the graph, you reduce your volatility, and good things happen. I have rarely in my life had a stretch that had many hours and had poor monetary results. So that is the end of the challenge. Don't know when I'm going to do the next one. Possibly, you know, 500 hours in 50 days, possibly just more hours per day. Maybe like go for 125 hours in 10 days, something like that. Not sure. I'll see how many people like this video, maybe put a poll up in the future, but that's a wrap on this challenge. Another successful challenge. 250 hours in 25 days.
Yeah, I got it at the stadium.